most fitness programs, they are not tailored to busy moms, right? Most of moms, they cannot take in consideration those conventional ways of working out 5 times a week, 1 to 2 hours a day. So how can a mom who doesn't have a fitness background, which is not my case because of being at the gym before, we met and I start following you at the gym, I start you eating well. How can a mom who doesn't have this kind of background can do it?
I have not only the knowledge, but I have the experience of working with moms, actually moms and women in general. And I always had a better experience. I know that with women, most of my clients having the best results, that they were women. And I know that they are focused when they want something. So if they are not able to do something, it's because it's really not because of the approach. They need something different to be able to lose weight, to turn up everything, the fitness goals they want to achieve. That's why I switched to work from working mostly with men to women because of that reason.
So, okay, and we can also take in consideration one bigger factor that moms, women in general, we have more tasks than men, usually. And this is always going to be a huge argument. It's going to be a huge fight all the time. It's going to be, oh, no, but...
Well, yes, usually both are working, but moms are working and taking care of the kids.
So, yeah, that's true. That's good that you feel this way.
Yeah, I totally agree. So as you guys can see, I truly understand moms. And I'm your host, Sandro, registered dietitian, strength trainer, and fitness researcher. I've been always trying to find the most effective ways to build muscle, to burn fat. I've been passionate about bodybuilding always, but not passionate about wasting a lot of time, especially now that I'm a dad. So, and in this episode, we're going to talk about the method, how I developed the 20-Minute Fit Mom, the originals of the method, and so you understand that this makes completely sense.
Okay, so first things first, what has driven you? What made you, I need to shift. I need to start working with women. Don't tell me that it was because of me only. Tell me the truth. Now,
that was pretty much the last pushing that to make me go to that direction, because I've been following some moms, like a pregnant women, to control their weight and all, to make sure that they're healthy and they get to the end of the pregnancy not gaining more than is necessary. But of course, never before that close. So I believe that the first reason is what I just mentioned. Most of my clients, I could say 60 to 70% of the clients that had achieved the best results, they were women. Why? Because that's what I feel, okay? Maybe another professional will not agree with me, but I feel that women are more loyal to their coaches, okay? So if I tell you to do something, women in general will not try to find different answers, different of their opinions. If I'm telling something, you can ask to another personal trainer, or go to try to find on YouTube, or try to find a different answer than mine. Okay, they usually stick to the coach. A second thing is that they are more focused for some reason. I feel that women, they are more patient. They know how to wait to achieve the kind of result they want. They don't want for yesterday the result. I feel that men, they are more in a rush to get things quick, especially because they keep comparing to each other, to the other guy who looks more ripped and with more muscles and all. They want to achieve things fast. So in general, I feel that it's easier to work with women. I feel more comfortable. Most of them achieve the best results. And you were the last pushing, like I said, because I saw how hard it is. Mm-hmm. You had a fitness background in nutrition, in workout, like you mentioned in the past episode. You've never been a gym rat.
No, I never.
But you should go with me to the gym. Yes. 5 times a week in the past, 5 times a week, training an hour and a half, preparing my meals and everything. And even so, it was very hard for you to exercise after you had the C-section, the baby, no time, the emotional challenges and everything else. So those were the two things. My experience with women and seeing your experience. So I said, there is too many people working with men, with bodybuilders and all, but not too many people to help moms. So I want to do that.
It's not any kind of mom, right? Let's just take this in consideration right now. We are not talking about any kind of mom. I was one of your worst clients, honestly speaking. And I understand. I made your life so difficult that I think you just say, you know what? I pretty sure I have all the tools. I have everything right now to help any kind of woman. Because if I did this with Fernanda, I definitely can do this with any other kind of woman. Because it was tough, guys. It's just, I'm not saying to brag, nothing. Sandro is an amazing husband, and he's an amazing professional. And I guarantee to you, I can get the same opinion from other professionals, okay? Hairdresser, nail designer, my physiotherapist, and other kind of professions. They will say, it's on me. I don't know how to change that. The motivation, I start doing something and go to the end is something that I struggle.
Yeah, this is something that happens all the time. And in the past, when I worked in a health clinic with doctors and dentists and other professionals, none of them ever treated their family, relatives, their wife or any person, even friends, because it's hard when you are a professional and you have to advise someone and tell them, sometimes being kind of tough on the person, say, no, this is not like this, to talk to your wife, to talk to your parents, or, it's pretty hard. So this adds an extra difficulty to the process when you're a coach to coach your wife in this case.
Yeah, and also because most of the couples, they don't see each other more as a professional. I don't know, like, this is my view. I always saw you, especially now as a dad, somebody who have your own ideas of bodybuilder, and you follow the guys. You have been one in the past. So I never thought that you could shift that much.
From being a bodybuilder to being a mom's coach.
A mom's coach, a daddy, an amazing daddy, working here at home, So like, I didn't even see the whole idea. And I say, look, you have a huge challenge right now. You had to come out with a program, okay, based in whatever you want, your bodybuilding coaches, whatever, to give me the same thing that you had with your other clients. I do not have time. You know that I'm lazy. You know that I like to eat whatever I want, and try to help me to lose all this weight.
Yeah, and just to make this clear, that it's not that I was a conventional personal trainer, training 5 times a week and doing everything else, and just out of the blue, I became a mom's coach, and I started doing short workouts and everything. I've been training in a high intensity manner for over probably 4 or 5 years. Okay, once I truly put together all my knowledge of all the different things that I learned: bodybuilding, powerlifting, high intensity interval training, high intensity training. Then I created my version, which is called now 20 Minutes with Mom. So it's not pure high intensity training. I still believe about things that are different from high intensity training, some powerlifting concepts, even bodybuilding content. Is not that now I say, no, everything bodybuilders say is wrong because they train too much. No, there are a lot of things that I did in the past as a former bodybuilder, because I competed in natural bodybuilding, and I did the conventional workouts, high volume with a lot of cardio and everything. And I pulled a lot of things from that approach, and I mixed with high intensity training with everything to create this program. So I've been training in a high intensity manner for 4 or 5 years. Nanda also mixing between high intensity training, sometimes longer workouts, but now I had to come with the shortest approach, the simplest, the shortest kind of workout that can benefit moms, because even working out at home sometimes is hard. We put our baby to watch a little bit of some cartoons or something while we are working out, and she gets impatient after 30 or 40 minutes. So we have to work out in less than 40 minutes, we both.
No,
so,
definitely.
Yeah. So that's why I switch to really stop working with other kind of clients, and to develop this approach based on the experience we had with her pregnancy.
Okay, so it was a good shift. Okay, I really appreciate your help. And right now, what we need to introduce to whoever is listening here is that this conventional way, this way that we just find out the way that we just came out with, is something that is being here since the 50s, right?
Yes.
But it's not that much of knowledge of a lot of people, because
there is a simple answer.
how can you go to the gym and work out for 20 minutes only? It's not possible.
There is a simple approach. The reason why you haven't heard about high intensity training, short workouts, infrequent workouts, is because the fitness industry profits from selling supplements, gym memberships, and long workouts. So if you have the possibility to work out only for 20 minutes once or twice a week, many people would choose not going to the gym. They would just buy some gear and start training at home. That wouldn't be good for the fitness industry. That's why you don't hear much about that. But so, can I talk a little bit about the history about high intensity training and everything, so they can understand?
Go ahead.
All right. So I love this part here.
Yeah, I know that.
I'm gonna try to make it short because I'm talking about probably 3 or 4 decades of history of training in bodybuilding history. So that will be a really long episode. So I'm gonna try to make it short. Everything started with someone called Arthur Jones. Arthur Jones was an inventor, was a rich man who owned the machines, Nautilus machines. You can find those machines still nowadays in gyms. Not every gym, but you find they were very high-tech machines for considering the time in the 70s. And he wanted to prove that everybody could work out, not only bodybuilders. Because at that time, in the 70s, 60s, 70s, only bodybuilders were going to the gym, or people involved with sports, not the general population. It wasn't like nowadays, like everybody, even older people go, even kids you see like at 12, 13 years old going to the gym, It was very different. It was the only thing for athletes. So Arthur Jones created some machines to be able to work in a safer manner for other population different than bodybuilders.
Of course, like old people. Let's say old people.
To make it short, yes.
Old people, because at that time was like, what we know about exercise was the PT, physiotherapy. Like somebody broke a leg, somebody had like kind of surgery.
Yeah.
So they would have some kind of exercise.
Yeah, the two approaches, or you would go to a physiotherapist, a doctor, or you would go to a bodybuilding gym. But there wasn't something intermediate. So those machines were developed to make it possible to work out for everybody.
Okay.
So he wanted also to prove that those principles that he studied for years, studying gorillas, crocodiles, and animals, the principles of intensity. He always believed through his studies that the more intense you work out, the more intense you hit your muscles, the better will be your result. And now analyzing and comparing animals, very powerful animals like lions and gorillas and crocodiles and all, and seeing that they wouldn't do a lot of exercise in nature. It seems like a silly comparison, but it makes sense. The biggest, the strongest animals, they do little movement. And when they do a high intensity movement, a lot of effort, and they stop. On the other side, the animals, they keep like running and doing a lot of cardio the whole day. They are not very strong. So based on that, they
don't have much of muscle.
Muscle, yes, power, strength. So he developed the principles of high intensity training. Train very intense. So you will have to train very short because you're training intense. Nobody's able to train very intense for longer than 30 or 40 minutes.
No, impossible.
Then you have to rest, because if you keep training all the time, you don't give time to your body to recover. So those were the three core principles of Arthur Jones: intensity, duration, and frequency. Okay. So based on that, he started making experiments with bodybuilders. So he got the most famous bodybuilders at the time, even Arnold Schwarzenegger. Even if you're not into bodybuilding, you know Sergio Leva, about Arnold Schwarzenegger, and many other bodybuilders at the time. And all of them had good results with their workouts. Most of them continue training the conventional way because that was the way that they've been training for years. But
it was only kind of researching,
yes.
Right? It was the kind let me just prove a certain point.
Exactly. Okay. But a few of them really enjoy the workout and they continue with him. So they kind of team up with him to continue working in that way. And a few of them became great champions at the time, such as Mike Mincer.
Dorian Yates
was later on. Yeah.
But he was the main mass monster that was adapted to his
Yeah, he was Arthur John started with Mike Menzer, Ray Menzer, Cassie Vitor, and some others, and many of them became champions, and they are in the Hall of Fame of bodybuilding, and those they continue with their studies and they develop their own methods. So Arthur John developed high intensity training, and Mike Menzer, who was one of his students, let's say, he developed the heavy duty, which is his version of high intensity training. And with his heavy duty, Dorian Yates, which is the first man's monster means the first guy over 250 pounds with 3% of body fat.
Like he was a monster.
Yeah, he was the first.
He was like a Transformers.
Because before that, the physiques, they were more aesthetics. They were just like more Arnold, like a small waist and all, and looking pretty. But he was the first guy that people will watch and see, what the heck is that? And he got that physique applying the principles of Arthur John and Mike Menzer, high intensity principles, which are the principles of the 20-minute Fit Mom.
And we need to let this clear for whoever is listening. It was this plus genetic, plus the way you eat, plus a little drugs, and so on and so forth.
Of course, as any other sport.
But okay, now you need to explain me how all these guys, big guys with a lot of muscles, guys with a lot of money, guys who had to search so many years on this field, how those guys came all together
to contribute with the 20-minute Fit Mom.
For moms, okay? For moms. So how the mass monster guy will help someone who just left the hospital, is healing for a C-section, gaining, 40 pounds more, and she doesn't want to come back to the gym?
Because the training principles are the same for everybody. So when you see, for example, you hear training for women, a lot of different commercial names to tell you that this is a different way to work the muscles because women has to work the muscles in a different way. That's bullshit. Okay.
So yeah, because what we know is most of the women, we just want to focus more in the lower part. The guys,
which is fine.
And the guys in the upper body and so on and so forth.
We love it.
So how is that gonna work?
I'm gonna make it easy. The explanation. Okay. If we apply the same workout. For example, a full body workout, let's say it's 7 exercises, one for big muscle group, just to picture this on your mind. Overhead press, chest press, a row, chin up, biceps and triceps, for example, right? And a squat. So with the same workout, a woman and a man applying the same principles, they will achieve different physique. Why? Because the bone structure is different, the hormonal system is different, the muscle shape is different. Everything is different, right?
Yes.
So, but the principles are the same. The more intense the workout, the more you're showing to your body that you need to develop muscle, you need to get stronger, which is toning up. What means toning up? Toning up means losing weight and keeping or gaining muscle at the same time. So, for that to happen, you have to apply intensity into your muscle.
You have to lift weights.
You have to lift weight. You have to apply the intensity. How do you apply intensity? Lifting weights.
Okay.
So, applying a resistance to your muscle. That's it.
So our approach is you're going to lift weight, you're going to put intensity on your workout, but it's a brief moment. Because
the workout is intense.
So you cannot do this intensity for 40 minutes.
Yes.
It's impossible.
So those principles are universal. Okay. That's why everything that they discovered, they've been applying through the years about high intensity training, Arthur Jones, Mike Menzer, Ray Menzer, all those guys in the high intensity field applies to everybody. Whether you're 15 years old, 90 years old, or a mom after a C-section, applies to everybody. And why is it better for moms? It's because despite the name, high intensity must be something dangerous. No.
I won't be able to do it because I'm not in my best way right now.
High intensity means that you do one set of work until you can't do anymore. So you're pushing your muscle to its limit. That means high intensity. So let's say you're doing a squat.
Okay.
You keep squatting until you can't do anymore. That means you use all the muscle fibers that were available to do that work.
All the energy that you had inside those muscles, they were depleted.
Yeah. When you reach that point, that means that you reach a high level of intensity.
Okay.
That means high intensity. So those principles are universal for everybody. And that's why, and they are safe because since you are doing this in a very slow manner control with no jerk.
Because this is something that most of them have doubted. Okay, I'm going to do a high intensity. How that means like I need to do 50, 60, 70 reps, right?
Yeah.
How it is?
So you apply resistance to your muscle. So let's say you are squatting. If you are able to reach failure, which is the point that you're not able to do any more reps in a minute, between a minute and two with no weight, that's okay. If you're able to do over 2 minutes, that means that you can put some weight.
Okay, because you can increase resistance.
Yeah, because if you keep doing it, that's going to become a cardio. And to develop muscle, to turn up, you need resistance training.
You need weight.
You need weight to create resistance.
Of course.
Right? So that resistance could be created through weights, through a machine, through bands, even to body weight. But body weight at some point is not enough anymore, so you have to put some weight.
Especially if you start to lose weight.
Yes, you start to lose weight, you get stronger, you lose weight, so you start adding resistance. So the name of resistance training comes from adding resistance.
Okay.
The name of high intensity training comes from reaching a point that you can't do anymore. Once you reach that point, you don't have to do anymore. So that's why the workout is short and is safe. So you're doing a
slow motion movement, right? Your method, it comes... Okay, we're going to discuss this in another episode. Yeah. This is not the main idea.
We're going to outline. But if you want a quick summary of how to perform so you can start applying from now on.
Try to do the squat of the 10-10-10 like we do it sometimes.
Yeah, you can start, let's say, squat. Anybody can do a squat, right?
Body weight squat.
Yeah, if you have a hard time to do squat, you can put a chair. You don't have to go all the way down. You can do it on a chair. And do counting 10 seconds to come down, in 10 seconds to come up without locking your knees. So your muscles are always under tension. And do that until you can't do it anymore. Then you will understand everything we're talking about.
Very good. So after me, I think I am one of your best examples of, wow, this really worked for her. Do you had another person, other clients who had the same, a good result in the safest way of doing?
Yes. I had, of course, other moms applying the method, but the two cases that show my point about safety, and if it's safe, that means that it's good for a postpartum woman, right? It's my 71-year-old client with injuries on his shoulder and knees. He had some things to make it harder to do any kind of workout, and he could apply, gain muscle and lose fat. He lost about 20-25 pounds with 71 years old, not being able to do other kind of workout. My second client is a girl that had a serious injury on her spine.
So she was an athlete.
She was an athlete. So, but nowadays she has a hard time to do certain exercises. So the main exercise we will use for muscle building is the squat, and she can squat with a bar because of the spine. Even though we had pretty good result in that circumstance of not being able to exercise. So that proves the safety of the method, which is ideal for moms because they need a safe approach. They cannot keep going to the gym, keep bouncing weights and do in a sloppy way just like everybody else, because they are healing from a C-section most of the time, or I don't know the proportion, but I believe it's more than 50% of the women, they went through C-section.
The numbers are high, depend of the state, but I agree with you. Country, But like to close down this whole episode, talking to you about our method and all, Sandro, he saw an opportunity to prove that what he does, what he has always been doing, can also be applied for a mom in her most vulnerable period of her life. Right? I was healing for a C-section. I was huge. I was without my family. Sandro came and he said, okay, let's try to figure it out. And he saw an opportunity of helping another moms who are right now in the same situation. And once again, I want to make you understand that I am the worst kind of person to follow absolutely anything. I'm seriously. I know for sure that I won't be able to reach any of the things that I did without his help.
That being said, if you can do it,
I can do it. If I can do it, you can do it for sure. Like 100%. So thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you could understand how important is high intensity training, lifting weights for you, for your health, for whoever is around you. And please continue supporting us, continue listening to us. we are about to share even more good experience about this amazing
You want to
method.
find us on social media, it's 20 Minute Fit Mom. You put that name, you will find us on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. You can find everywhere. It's the same name, 20 Minute Fit Mom.
So see you next episode.
See you guys. Bye.